All right. A very good morning to you. And just like the song says, it's a very beautiful Tuesday, a new month for Biashara Tuesday. And this is the second quarter. That means it's the first show we are having in the second quarter of 2026. And mwaka inakimbia, we're already in the fourth month of the year, the 7th of April 2026. So much has been happening in the country. We've had a very long weekend. Today is Monday to most of Kenyans, those who are allowed to go for holidays. And for those who are always going to work, we are sorry, but it has been a very long weekend. For those who are permitted to go for holidays, that is from Thursday of last week, and now they're resuming work. Welcome to Biashara Tuesday. And this is a show that keeps you updated, informed on everything business, whether you are a seasoned entrepreneur or you're just starting up. This is where you get informed, trade secrets and everything in between, leadership and how you can best better yourself as an entrepreneur. Today being a Tuesday, we also have a lot in store for you on the show. This includes conversations surrounding entrepreneurship, and today specifically we'll be talking about building businesses that we'll be having a conversation beyond degree, building a 40-employee business from scratch. Because most of the time as young people in schools, we are told that, go to school, get a degree and find a job. But the narrative is shifting. We've already established in this show that no government is capable of creating enough jobs for its citizens. So as we have established that, we know that as young people, we should be focused on creating jobs. Now, today's discussion will be focused on helping us understand how best can we build these businesses to a point where we are employing up to 40, we're having up to 40 employees. That is the discussion that we shall be having this morning. And this to help us understand this discussion, will be joined by Anthony Mwendwa, who is the CEO and founder of Nelada Insurance Agency. He's a business owner who has employed several people, and also will be joined by a very own lecturer and patron of the Finance Society of Kenyatta University, that is Dr. Charity Njoka. They'll be helping us understand beyond your degree, how well can you sustain your business? So that is on the launch on entrepreneurship this morning. Also to help us further discussions on entrepreneurship, today we shall be talking, we shall be having a theater segment right here on our coverage, and we shall be having representatives who are our own, and they took part in the making of a show that premieres right here on Kenyatta University, a show called Health Unit, which premieres every Wednesday right here on KU televisions from 7:30 p.m. that is East African time. And they'll be helping us understand this industry. How is it like to be in the industry? Is it something that pays? Because we always say in this show that most of the time passion may not pay your bills, but how sustainable is it? Now that they're in the business, they have stayed in the business for quite some time, having participated in different theater performances and different films and everything in between that line of work. They'll be helping us understand. For the young person who wants to get into the business, you can also send in your questions so that we can get the questions to them, those who aspire to be in the business or those who are already in the business and feel stuck in some way. So you can also send in your questions, and trust you will be able to channel them. And this is a time when, the government has also issued a new directive that now that you're approaching campaigns, politicians are to pay more to musicians for using their music in their campaigns. So is it a reprieve for musicians, and what are the advancements also for those in the theater industry? Those are discussions that we shall be having this morning on the London. Of course, also we shall be talking about the state of our nation, and this includes highlights that are news that are making headlines in different newspapers in the country, and also things that affect you as a Kenyan citizen, and specifically as a young person, or if you're not a young person and you're just tuned in, or you're tuning in on Biashara Tuesday, we shall be asking questions that concern you as a citizen. How important is it for you to know the current affairs. How does it affect you and your business? Those are discussions that we shall be having. Having mentioned that, let's take a look at newspapers this morning, their headlines, and we'll begin by MyGov, which is a pullout from the Star. MyGov is inside the Star. So MyGov this morning, their headline is 213 hospitals benefit as state expands national equipment scheme. That is on MyGov. Moving on to the Star. They're talking of a project to decongest city by expanding and restructuring CBD Railway City to turn Nairobi into a glitzy business hub. This is current works by Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja to transform the city, and this is of course in partnership, which we were really not comfortable talking about, or it was not so popular to many Kenyans, the partnership between Nairobi and the national government. So these are among the things that we shall be expecting, or we expecting to be seeing as a part of development of Nairobi city. And another story that is given prominence on the Star, they're talking of from Mbiri to Fort Hall, the history of Murang'a town, and also grit of a tycoon, Obama's journey from village turned to thriving Kayad owner. That is on the Star. Moving on to a different newspaper this morning, let's take a look at Financial Standard. And Financial Standard are talking of a fresh scramble for 8 trillion Mrima Hill treasure. That is on the Financial Standard. More on that story on page 20 and 21. Of course, this is in relation to the Standard. Moving on to a different newspaper, we have the Business Daily. The Business Daily this morning are talking of how 3 insurers collapsed with 3.4 billion clients claims. Questions on insurance in this country are something that are keen on, because sometimes as you buy insurance, I will not mention names, some of the insurance will sell you the benefits, that is the pitch that they give you, but in real sense after 2-3 years you find that you have no real benefit as a beneficiary of the same insurance scheme. So if you're buying or if you're getting yourself committed to any insurance company, don't just listen to the sales pitch that you know you're going to be insured health-wise and all that. Look also at the financial benefits that you get as a person, because in sales no one tells you about the risk. So if you're not told, ask about it. If you don't ask about it, research about it before getting into fraudulent insurances. Another story is Boon for electric vehicles dealer of state dealers as state orders 600 units. Another story is banks shift billions to infrastructure, and also Telcom drops to the 5th largest telco, overtaken by Jamii. Those are stories that are given prominence on the Business Daily. Taifa Leo this morning wanazungumzia mtihani mgumu wa Sifuna, and this is in relation to it's like analysis of what is at stake for Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, whether he should be running for his seat or a different seat under the ODM, get back to reconciliation with the ODM party, or form his own party, which for you to gain positions, especially big positions, you're supposed to have structure, and that is why most people get into leadership with parties, despite the fact that they may not like the parties. Another option for him is for him to join the united opposition, but taking a look at what they're saying, katibu mkuu wa ODM ana kibarua kigumu cha kufanya maamuzi ya busara ambayo huenda yakaamua hatima yake ya kisiasa. Wachanganuzi wasema ana nafasi finyu ya kusalia ODM huku ana nafasi finyu ya kusalia ODM huku tiketi ya useneta wa Nairobi ikionekana kumwendea Jalango. Akibuni chama na awanie, wadadisi wanasema atagawa kura za upinzani na kumfaa Ruto mwaka 2027, na akijiunga na upinzani huenda akapoteza kura za Gen Z. And this is something that is for a long time, narratives surrounding politics in this country or that the young people are against Ruto. But if you listen to the young people who really are keen on issues, you'll realize that this is a propaganda also that is meant to, derail you of what you really stand for and get to be identified with something, or the group thinking and all that. So wachanganuzi wanasema if Sifuna dares to join the united opposition, that means he might be losing the ODM vote. So it's a tough battle for Sifuna in making a decision for the same. Taarifa zingine katika gazeti la Taifa Leo, kuna mtu ataumia UEFA leo. UDA na ODM vitani kuhusu zoning wa mwaka 2027. Kero la wapayukaji wa kulipwa, that is in matters politics. Those are stories that are given prominence on Taifa Leo. Moving on to a different newspaper, The People Daily, talking of how Ruto turned defiance into compliance, the ghost of opposition and Kenya's new silence. That is the story that is given prominence. That's an analytical story given prominence on The People Daily. The Standard, they're talking of course he knew. And this is Energy CS Opiyo Wandayi. And for the longest time during the Easter, we've had these conversations ongoing of an illegal consignment that is substandard going on in the country. And the Standard this morning are saying a near catastrophic fuel shortage in late March exposed deep failures inside the Energy Ministry, with documents showing Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Wandayi was fully aware. Copies of every critical letters and meeting minutes from the onset of the crisis to the March 25th approval of substandard fuel was sent to him. He knew Gulf Energy Cargo failed Kenya's quality standards, yet backed an exemption allowing higher sulfur, manganese and a lower octane fuel into the market. He was also aware of inflated premium of 255 USDs metric tons against the G2G offer of 884 USD per metric ton would add 17.49 shillings per liter. Yet, despite pushing the country to the brink, he defiantly remains unmoved, perhaps hoping the sinking failure will just get away as Kenyans pay the price by moving on. And this is, he has not been involved in so much of these conversations at the Energy CS, despite Standard claiming that he knew. And someone may reason it out that it's because it will create tension in the ODM UDA talks on the 2027 election. So like Ndindi said, the only problem is that watu wadogo walikula pesa ya mtu mkubwa. I don't know if that is true, but that is a controversy that is still ongoing in the country. Just so you know, as they are mentioning that this is a substandard fuel, it's already in our distribution lines. It's already in circulation, because once it has it's offloaded from the port, it gets directly into circulation. There is not enough storage at the port where this oil can be stored and something like so. It might be getting to your engines in a few. And just like Standard are saying, that Kenyans will have to pay the price by moving on, because there's not so much we can do at the moment, because most of these things are political. And of course he knew. Finally, let's take a look at the Daily Nation. And this is interesting. They're talking of echoes of silence. Last year, we had echoes of, was it Echoes of War? A controversial play by, was it Butere or Bunyore girls, that was written by Embattled. By then, I think by then he had resigned as ODM SG, that is Cleophas Malala. A play that really gained controversy in the country, and students were being harassed, and all of it on press eyes and all that. So this year's the Daily Nation are talking of echoes of silence, and they're saying that schools and college drama festivals rules have been revised to improve the sweeping ban on political messaging in a development apparently responding to last year's controversy around the play Echoes of War. Yes, it's Echoes of War by Butere Girls. And this year's, I think, conversations or plays are centered on Singapore and all that. So if you want to get more of the this year's plays, of course, the Daily Nation have given photos of last year, the harassment of Butere Girls with tear gas and all that. And if you want to get more of that story, that is on page 4 and 5. Another story on the Daily Nation is NYS's face of impunity. Those are stories that are given prominent on the Daily Nation. Of course, there's also the mention of Sifuna options right there. More of that story on page 6 and 7. Those are the newspapers that you're having this morning on the state of our nation. And to take a look at our neighbors in Uganda, the Daily Monitor, they're talking of making of Gaba killing suspect. They're saying investigations reveal that Christopher Okello Onyum, born in Zambia to Ugandan parents, had tried his hands in pharmacy in the United States but failed, then tried taxation before returning to Uganda in 2016. More on that story, that is on the Daily Monitor, that is in Uganda. In Tanzania, they're talking of paroko alivyonusurika kifo madhabahuni. Another story, they're talking of mbinu kukabili maumivu ya bei ya mafuta. Apparently this is something that is affecting the whole continent, if not the whole region. The prices of fuel. This is in relation to the Middle East war that is ongoing and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. I don't know how you pronounce it, Hormuz, Hamas, however you pronounce it. So following the closure of that, that has led to shocks in fuel prices, and this is going to be tough because, you know, since the war began, little to no ships have been released to different countries. And finally, they're talking of Dr. Mwigulu atoa maelekezo wafanya biashara simu 2,000. Those are the newspaper that you're having in our region, that is our neighbors around, that is on the state of the nation, and of course what is happening across the region. At this point, I want us to take a look at the state of the weather according to the weatherman, and of course traffic situation. Exactly 42 minutes past 7 a.m. and just like I said, we had a very long weekend where everyone was home celebrating with their I almost said partners, celebrating with their families, celebrating with their friends. The Easter holidays were very interesting for every Kenyan or for everyone in the world. And right now it's like a Monday to most people who are reporting to work this morning. And I'm looking at different tributaries leading to Nairobi's central business district, and not so much to report on except on the normal places that we are used to them having traffic. And of course this is to begin with Thika Road. I'm looking at Thika Road, and the roads looked quite fine until our normal spots where we are always expecting traffic, that is around Pangani interchange is where we see traces of red. But looking at other tributaries leading to Nairobi's central business district, I am looking at those using Jogoo Road getting to town. you're going to be staying on that route for quite some time. Of course, this is those who are entering Nairobi Central Business District, around Afya Center, around those places. You're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. Also, as expected, those coming, those joining, getting to town through Mombasa Road or Nairobi Expressway, that is from Nyayo Stadium all the way to railways, and this is affecting those people coming from Kule Jewel Saints. If you're joining Mombasa Road through any tributary joining Mombasa Road, you're going to be staying on that road for quite some time. Also, those from Sarit, generally this morning, if you're using Mombasa Road, you're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. It's a little more stretches of red than you're always expecting, so you're going to be staying on those roads for quite some time. And those coming from using the Eastern Bypass, joining Mombasa Road as well, you're going to be staying on the road for quite some time. Wale watu wa Embakasi, Utawala, you are going to be staying on the road for quite some time. Those are the tributaries that I'm seeing large traces of red. The other places that you're always seeing traffic, that is those coming from Gong Road, Junction Mall, Kuleju, Galleria, I'm seeing stretches of yellow. So there's traffic, but it's moving, not compared to all these other places and in other days. So that is on the traffic update. And taking a look at what the weatherman is saying according to the Kenya Met Department. Remember, a warning had been issued of possible increase in rainfall or possible health crisis, especially for the people in the northern part of the country. Let's just take a look at what the weatherman is saying. From the 7th to the 13th, from 7th to 13th of April 2026, there is moderate risk of flooding in the highlands west of the Rift Valley, around Moyale in Marsabit County, and in few areas of the highlands east of the Rift Valley, with potential outbreaks of vector-borne diseases due to stagnant waters. So the areas mentioned, you might want to protect yourself. And in terms of rainfall, cumulative rainfall above 50 millimeters expected in few places of the highlands east and east of the Rift Valley in counties such as Nairobi, Murang'a, Nyeri, Embu, Kirinyaga, Meru, and Tharaka Nithi. Cumulative rainfall exceeding 50 millimeters expected over a few places in some parts of Kisii, Bomet, Migori, Homa Bay, Kericho, Narok, Vihiga, Busia, and Kakamega counties, highlands west of the Rift Valley. That is on rainfall exceeding 50 millimeters. So Nairobi this time is on the lower side of receiving rainfall. And they're also talking of the southeastern lowlands of the coastal regions. Isolated showers of rain are expected in few places, with cumulative rainfall above 50 millimeters expected in some few places in Kitui and Taita Taveta counties. And also rainfall is expected in few places in Marsabit and Mandera counties, with cumulative rainfall above 50 millimeters expected around Moyale. That is on rainfall and impacts on health. The Kenya Met Department says rainfall and stagnant waters, moderate risk of flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas, increased risk of mosquito-borne diseases, malaria, Rift Valley fever, chikungunya. These are expected, and waterborne diseases like cholera, diarrhea, typhoid, due to rainfall and stagnant waters. In terms of cold conditions, Kenya Met says moderate risk of respiratory illness. So wale wa homa, it's going to be increasing. Pneumonia, flu, bronchitis, influenza, and asthma in Nyahururu. So if you're staying in those places, make sure you keep yourself warm. And moderate risk of cardiovascular complications, particularly among children and elderly and individuals with chronic illness. Those are the impacts on health of the areas that I've mentioned. And the advisory that they are giving: use clean or treated water for drinking, drain stagnant water, and sleep under mosquito nets. Avoid flooded areas and landslide-prone zones. Dress warmly, especially in cold regions, and stay updated with official Kenya Met Department weather information. Those are the updates given by the Kenya Met Department, of course, from the 7th to the 13th of April 2026. That is on the weather update. right, now that you are updated on the traffic and weather, we are taking a very short break. When we come back, we shall be taking a look at stories making headlines in terms of news, that is news update on Biashara Tuesday. Stay tuned for that.
Badala ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi hawana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili.
Bila uoga, watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi. Wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi. Hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Kila safari huanza kwa hatua moja. Bila shaka, dira ya Boresha Kilimo sasa imepata sura mpya. Boresha Kilimo si kipindi tu, bali ni darasa la vitendo kwa wakulima. Lengo kuu, mavuno bora na tija kwa jamii.
Na ukikaa nasi basi utaboresha kilimo.
Hapa tutakupakulia maarifa takotia ladha ya kisukari kwenye mazao yako, tukitofautisha punje na mpunga.
Kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
Kuanzia maandalizi ya shamba, mbinu za teknolojia ya kisasa hadi sokoni, usikose kutazama Boresha Kilimo.
Ukitaka kujua haya usipime kipimo.
Ungana nami na nahodha wako Akida Kasim kila siku ya Jumamosi saa 6:30 mchana na Jumanne asubuhi, nikikuletea shajara kamili za wakulima na suluhisho mashinani.
Kilimo ni nguzo kubwa kwa ujenzi wa taifa, kwani kilimo ndicho huboresha maisha.
Kumbuka, ukipanda pantosha utavuna pankwisha.
Get started hapo kwa Sayuni Referral Hospital, na hapa hatufanyi mchezo, hapa ni experts peke yake. I'm telling you, this hospital is not what you think.
Unamuumiza bana, wacha.
Watu wewe ni nini baya wewe?
Our people united shall never be defeated.
Welcome back. Now let's keep you updated on what is shaping the world of news. To set us off, residents in the coastal region as well as fishermen who depend on the ocean for their livelihoods have been urged to take precautionary measures following expected changes in sea conditions over the next 7 days. The National Meteorological Department has announced that from April 6th to 12th, sea waves are expected to reach heights of between 2.0 and 2.25 meters along the coastal areas of Somalia, Kenya and Tanzania. Additionally, moderate to strong wind is expected, which could pose risk to fishing activities and marine transport. People living near the shoreline as well as ocean users have been advised to follow safety guidelines and remain vigilant during this period. And now that we are still on the festive mood, Deputy Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has assured both residents and tourists in Mombasa County of heightened security during the Easter holidays, stating that security agencies are on high alert, implementing strategic measures to safeguard citizens, visitors, and prevent crimes across the coast region. Ateng Kanegunda reports.
Kwamba polisi na Wakenya wenzetu wako kangari kuhakikisha usalama wa kila mmoja.
Following the recent rise of crime rates in the country, the Deputy Inspector General of Police Gilbert Masengeli has reassured both local residents and tourists visiting the coast region of their safety during the Easter holiday celebrations.
The panga poise that has been happening in the last few months, I can confidently assure you that is now history.
Speaking during an inspection at Jomo Kenyatta Public Beach, also known as Pirates Beach, Masengeli highlighted that multi-agency security teams have been deployed at key tourist sites, highways, and public spaces to ensure a peaceful festive period.
Leo tukiwa hapa katika Pirates Beach, tumetembea hapa kama multi-agency team ya National Police Service, ya KWS, ya Kenya Defence Forces, kuna Coast Guard na National Intelligence Service. Wote tumeshirikiana kuhakikisha usalama wa beaches zetu zote katika hii eneo ya pwani. Watu wanasherehekea Pasaka kwa usalama.
During his tour at several areas including Bamburi, he assessed security arrangements as he engaged with officers on duty, while noting that the Easter season draws large crowds, necessitating close coordination among police, traffic personnel, and other security units to maintain order and respond swiftly to incidents.
Kwa hakika mnapoona watu wamekuja kwa wingi kuliko hata wakati huo mwingine wa Krismasi, tunaona wameamua kusherekea Pasaka baharini, na hapa sisi pia tunataka kuhakikisha usalama wao, na pia tunataka kuhakikishia wananchi wengine kwamba mnapoendelea kufanya sherehe za Pasaka na sherehe nyingine zote, huu wakati pia you do everything in temperance, mfanye kila jambo kwa kipimo.
Motorists were also cautioned against reckless driving, speeding, and traffic violations, warning of strict enforcement and legal consequences, as he urged public to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities.
Because we've arrested more, and most of them have been convicted, and others have cases in court of law. Imekuwa lakini kupitia kwa NTSA, kupitia kwa traffic enforcement na kwa kila madereva pia na kwa sako zote, natoa ushauri kwamba wakati huu wa msimu wa Pasaka watu waende wakiwa wanaangalia maslahi ya wengine barabarani, wasiendeshe magari wakiwa wamelewa, na pia waende kulingana na sheria vile zinavyoturuhusu.
The public now remains confident and vigilant, working with authorities to enjoy a safe, peaceful, and memorable Easter holiday.
Now that story was produced by our very own Ateng Kanegunda and voiced by Ochieng Cynthia. Moving on, residents of Ngongoni Market in Magarini Sub-County, Kilifi County, have protested over the poor state of the Malindi-Lamu Highway, lamenting frequent accidents caused by its narrow, raised and unsigned sections that have led to deaths, injuries and destruction of properties. Listen in.
Gongoni Market residents in Kilifi County marched to the streets, temporarily blocking the busy Malindi-Kilifi highway, demanding urgent government action with regards to poor state of the Malindi-Lamu highway as residents continue to rise along the stretch.
Ni juzi tu tumepoteza watu 4, jana tena tumepoteza mama mmoja. Kwa kweli ni huzuni sisi kwa watu wa Gongoni. Hii barabara ni ndogo. Hii highway tunaomba ipanuliwe.
According to the residents, a recent head-on collision between a tuk-tuk and a lorry near Majanaheri shopping center, which killed 5 people, could have been prevented if the road was wider, stating that the route lacked signage, bumps, and proper lighting, making it dangerous for motorists and pedestrians.
Malalamishi yetu, watoto wetu wanamalizika gongoni, kugongwa na magari huko msikitini. Hii barabara hii jana tumepoteza watu 5. Umeona wengine ni majeruhi. Ni kwa ajili ya kwamba hata bumping hakuna. Malori, magari madogo yanapita vile atakavyo. Maana yake hakuna pingamizi. Saa nyingine magari yanakosa mwelekeo, yanaanguka chini, yanaua watu. Alikufa yule mwanamke yule wa kule, ikamuua huko barabarani. Na hapa kuna watu wengi wanafanya mabiashara.
The Kenya National Highway Authority, KENHA, has been urged to expand the road, install signs to reduce the occurrence of accidents. Leaders have also been called upon to push for swift intervention, warning that more lives and property will be lost if no action is taken soon.
Tunapoteza watu wengi kwa sababu ya hii barabara, hakuna bump, hakuna marking yoyote, hakuna signboard. Kwa hivyo tunaomba mheshimiwa Gavana wetu Mng'aro, Aisha Jumwa, pia unahusika katika kitengo cha barabara nchini Kenya. Tunaomba utuwekee bump kwa hii barabara, uipanue na utuwekee signboard.
Hii barabara inasemekana ni ya serikali kuu. Serikali kuu ni Kenya. Kama hawawezi kutuwekea miinuko kwa hii barabara, huyo Samuel Ruto na Kenya yao bebe hii barabara, waende na huko kwao. Maana imekuwa kichinjio kwetu hii. Tumepoteza maisha. Leo tuko na viwete, juzi tumezika. Jana sasa kama Mng'aro itakuwa kazi yake ni kuja na kuzika, atasika wangapi?
Residents emphasize that communities have suffered repeated tragedies and cannot endure further preventable losses, adding that reckless driving by reckless drivers worsens the situation.
Kwa sababu watu tunagongana tu ovyo ovyo, huoni mwenzako mbele, hata ukiona hutaki kupunguza, wewe unapita venye unavyotaka, kwa sababu mtu ako na bajaji ama tuktuk kama Nissan, wewe uko na lori, mpaka mwenzako wewe nafasi iko, lakini wewe unamshikisha mwenzako na kando. Unaona, sasa tunakuwa ni shida kwa sababu tunawana kila siku.
Drivers and all road users are now urged to take caution when approaching the area, as residents call for immediate safety measures to prevent further accidents. Atenka Negunda, KUTV.
Thank you, Ateng. Now moving on, the Communications Authority of Kenya has clarified the concerns over its directive requiring all newly imported mobile devices to support USB Type-C charging. Communications of Kenya Chairperson Charles Karongo stated that the existing cables, chargers and devices already in use or currently in transit will not be affected, insisting that the government has only banned the importation of mobile devices that are not in line with the Communications Authority of Kenya directives, as Akida Kasim now reports.
It has now been a week since the Communications Authority announced the directive on the transition to Type-C chargers, a move that sparked concern and debate among the public and mobile phone users about the implications of changing charger types. However, Chairperson Charles Karondo clarified that the directive applies only to new devices and will not burden those who have already purchased or are using devices with previous charger types.
Simu ambazo ziko kwa meli ama ndege zikija, hatuna shida na hizo. Tunasema tumeongea na manufacturers across the world na tukakubaliana simu yoyote, device yoyote ambayo itakuwa inaingia Kenya, ambayo wanatafuta idhinisho ya kuleta Kenya wakati huu, tumeambia manufacturers wakitengeneza vitu za hapa Kenya, watengeneze vitu za Type C.
Speaking during the opening of Nyumba Kambirwa, Karondo said the authority has already informed major international manufacturers about the changes. Going forward, all devices entering the country will be required to have USB Type-C chargers. The move aims to align with international standards, promote a uniform charging system, and reduce confusion among users.
Kwa hivyo simu zitaendelea kuwa za bei tofauti, lakini sisi wote na tunataka kuleta watu kiwango kimoja. Sasa hakuna watu wa iPhone wanatumia charger ya kimaarufu zaidi na wale wengine.
Consequently, stating that the directive is not a ban on product already in the market, but rather a step towards creating a more user-friendly environment through modern technology.
Kila Kenya awe na simu ya 1,000 ama ya 200, wote watatumia chaja moja ya type C. Kwa hivyo it has nothing to do with the existing phones, na watu wasikuje kuleta siasa na kupiganisha watu hapo.
According to the authority, this move supports standardization, efficiency, and convenience for mobile phones users in the country. Akida Kasim, KUTV.
Now, those are changing times in the country in terms of technology. Moving on, Principal Secretary in charge of Public Investment and Assets Management, Cyril Odede, has urged the youth in Migori County to turn out in large numbers to register as voters in order to fulfill their civic duty ahead of the 2027 elections. Odede emphasized that youth are crucial for the country's future leadership and should exercise their right to elect leaders of their choice. In collaboration with the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, Migori County aims to register 65,000 new voters before May 5th.
We have sectors of CMF. When you don't have machines, you can also utilize the machines that the government has put in place for your own use as a community or as business enterprises. They pay very minimal charges to just ensure that the machines have been maintained.
To work with the farmers through a program that is we dubbed or named Migori Youth and Women Microenterprise Development, that worked with 250 young people and women. Basically, we train them on production, processing, and marketing.
Please stop being at your home. Look for other women groups and join them, because together we go far. With us women group, the way you see me now, I'm very much different from others who are idlers.
All right. Now, I couldn't move on without asking you viewers this. Everyone says that the young people are the future of this, are the future, or they are the future leaders. But if the future is on our hands, why is it that very few young people are in positions where they're able to make these decisions, where they're able to shape policies? So ask yourself, if you're the future, why are you not allowed to make decisions? Why are you not allowed to have a say or to have a seat at the table? Moving on to a different highlight, a new wave of hope is emerging in Wajir County, where water scarcity has long hindered sanitation services. The introduction of modern ecological sanitation, EcoSan toilets, an initiative technology that conserves water while improving hygiene, is transforming households. Funded by the World Bank, 35 toilets have been constructed and distributed to families including women, the elderly, and those with chronic illnesses. Health experts note that the system safely manages waste, reduces diseases risk, restores dignity, and promotes community awareness on proper sanitation practices.
In terms of design, it has been the fecal waste and the water plus the urine, the washing part was separated to ensure that the usage is very clear, and there was a training conducted for the community so that they regularly use the project, the facility, and maintain it.
They said the criteria was who is weak in the community. In the eye of the BCU members and also other stakeholders, we make a beneficiary identification. We did a registration in consultation with the chiefs and the community elders and all of us. They identified the weakest members of the community. Based on that, now this structure was built up.
So that is why we have selected these EcoSans, these dry toilets, especially in villages where water is not that much available. They are dry toilets so that people can use it without necessarily using a lot of water.
Now let's get a little bit of politics. President William Ruto has received early backing from leaders of the United Democratic Alliance, that is UDA, in Tana River County, who convened to formulate strategies to consolidate support for his re-election in the 2027 general elections. The announcement came during a gathering of over 2,000 delegates from the Tana Delta sub-county, where leaders emphasized the critical importance of community unity in enhancing political influence.
Watu wa nyumbani tunafaa kujivunia na kuwashika mkono. Hii mkutano wa leo sio yao wao peke yao wawili. Hapa tuko na president wetu William Samoei Ruto. Kama sio yeye kutushikilia mkono, atuke kuwa na profesa ama daktari Idris Dokota hapa as a PS.
Shida ya Tana River si shida ya Mount Kenya. So nikaangalia, nikasema president ametuahidi, alituita sisi wabunge wote tukiwa na Senator Mombasa na akatuambia nitawafanyia hii, nitawafanyia hii na nitawafanyia hii. Na yale ambayo amesema ameyatenda, kwa sababu kwa saa hizi wakulima wetu hawana shida na gravity.
Juzi tumeona tena the same problems. Unafanya 1229 voiding of transactions ambazo ni za IFMIS, more than $1 billion shillings. Mumeenda mmetumia documentation zingine, pesa imetoka ikija hapa county imepelekwa kulipa watu wengine ambao sio wale walikuwa kwa lineup ya kulipwa.
Sasa ikiwa professionals wetu, wataalamu wetu wanakuja pamoja na kututambua pamoja na wazee wetu, hii ni very unique. We don't take it for granted, Dr. Mungatana, because si kila siku wasomi ama wataalamu wa area fulani kukubali wanasiasa na kuunda kikundi ya kusukuma haya mambo mbele.
Now, as the world marked World Physical Activity Day yesterday, the public has been urged to embrace and prioritize regular physical exercise to help prevent diseases linked to modern lifestyles. The Department of Physical Education, Exercise and Sports Science at Kenyatta University, in partnership with UNESCO, commemorated the day through activities held at Kenyatta University. Rajab Juma with the full report.
Good morning, everyone.
Observed annually on the 6th of April, World Physical Activity Day highlights the importance of exercise in promoting healthier lifestyles, as the community is encouraged to remain active and adopt regular physical activity to prevent diseases associated with the sedentary living.
It's really about promoting physical activity. We want to encourage all people to be physically active, to exercise. We want to promote health and strength and intellectual development. Exercise also improves our thinking and intellectual ability. Right? We want to do away with things like diabetes, which we know, and high blood pressure, which come as a result of lack of exercise.
Kenyatta University, through its Department of Physical Education, Exercise and Sports Science, alongside partners UNESCO, marked the day with activities promoting exercise and environmental awareness, aligning with this year's Green April theme, which urges stakeholders to protect the environment as a pathway to better health.
We started off by planting trees. The theme this year is Green April, so we want to also green the environment. So we have all planted trees, especially at the sports field, to promote so that the environment is not only green, it is healthy and it is beautiful, and we can actually enjoy it.
It's about mass participation in physical activity for wellness. And with this, we have done sustainability as well in terms of tree planting for the environment. As a department, we are supporting the university and our partners in terms of teaching, research, training, and community outreach.
Activities typically feature walking, running, community sports, and health education. Stakeholders emphasize the need for greater public awareness on the benefits of regular exercise and the importance of maintaining physical fitness.
This day, UNESCO designated it to promote physical activity, to promote inclusion, promote gender equality. This is just to bring the knowledge that it is very important to not just to sit in your sitting room, watch television. So we have to fight non-communicable diseases using physical activity.
sports were highlighted as a vital tool for development, promoting peace and uniting communities, as stakeholders also acknowledged Kenyatta University for taking the lead in recognizing and commemorating the day.
Kenyatta University has been doing it very well, bringing the community, bringing the different stakeholders around the celebration of the value of sport for inclusion, for development, for peace, for reconciliation. And you see how vibrant it is to have not just the student from the university, but also the people and the community around the university to come and to celebrate together.
The event aligns with Kenyatta University's mission of teaching, research and community engagement in advancing health. As the world celebrates World Physical Activity Day, the society has been urged to embrace physical activities to keep them safe from lifestyle diseases. Rajab Juma, Kenyatta University, Nairobi.
All right, now thank you, Rajab. Moving on, small-scale farmers in Migori County have been urged to utilize government agricultural facilities to curb post-harvest losses. Officials from the Kenya Industrial Research Development Institute, KIRDI, in Migori encouraged residents to access the Migori KIRDI Center, which provides cereal dryers, feed mixers, and other equipment. The farmers were also encouraged to visit the facility to learn about value addition and market linkages, boosting profits and growing their businesses. All right, now that marks the end of our news update this morning. Coming up next is a discussion that I mentioned earlier on how to build successful businesses that is beyond degrees. And this is a conversation that is focused on bringing the difference between reality and what is the illusion of after campus. You know, when you're in campus, you're told that get that degree, it will be the key to success. But then after completing that degree, you realize that it's the early bird that actually gets the door opened. Now that discussion is coming up shortly after the break. Stay tuned.
Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
Ari na fahari ninayo kukujuza habari, sio mara moja wala mara mbili, bali siku zote. Daima dawamu runinga ya KU inazama na kuzuka. Kuanzia mwambao hadi mashinani, tunachimba mizizi ya habari kukuletea yanayojiri. Na katika ulingo wa kisiasa, tunachambua mbivu na mbichi, tukiweka yote paruanja yanayokuhusu wewe katika jamii. Mtazamaji, una kipaji cha kuvikwa taji? Bila shaka runinga ya KU tutakuvika taji, na wala sio kilemba cha ukoka, tukiangazia kipaji chako. Usikose kuungana nami na odha wako wa Kidakasim kila siku ya Jumatatu hadi Ijumaa, tukiweka yote paruanja. Daima ukiwa nami ni Nadra Chombo kuenda mrama.
To get you started, hapo kwa Sayuni Referral Hospital, na hapa hatufanyi mchezo, hapa ni experts peke yake. I'm telling you, this hospital is not what you think. Unamuumiza bana, wacha.
united shall never be defeated.
Very important pulse check on the financial wellness of Kenyans. And this year's findings build on that foundation, offering a deeper look at how Kenyans are navigating the day-to-day financial realities, how we are all coping, adapting, and importantly, planning for the future. This year we've restyled the report to call it a financial wellness report, which is very much in keeping with what we believe the focus should be around financial services. We look at wellness from 3 dimensions: financial, physical, and mental. I'm very glad that we have, in this report, started touching a bit on physical wellness in the research. Kenyans are making daily trade-offs and determining what to prioritize, what to delay, and what to let go. The report covers this in quite a bit of details. If we step back to our 2024 report, Kenyans were very stressed. Kenyans were not sure about the future from a financial point of view. We've seen in this report some progress in people determining how to shape their financial wellness. The report reflects on how people are earning, spending, saving, and making decisions every day. It is grounded in the lived experience of working Kenyans across both formal and informal sectors, where most economic activity happens. What we are also seeing from the report is that we need more tools to help shape the future, particularly long-term planning.
The data has provided us with some insights that and perspectives that we need to take out of here. I mean, throughout the report and also the panel discussions, there are consistent themes that have come out, which I would like us to quickly walk through. I think the resilience of Kenyans is a key takeaway from here. Kenyans are putting in the effort. I think the question is, how long can that airbag expand? And what does it mean for us? The second point, consistent theme is about the sandwich generation. I think Martin reminded us that we're probably the last. And what do we do to the people in the room? Because you are the last. You probably not be a sandwich generation to somebody else who you are now providing for. So what does it mean for us, and what is the call to action there? The third consistent message is the constraint on savings. So the report has shown us that only 3 out of 10 households have money left after expenses. And the last consistent message is that only 42% of working Kenyans feel adequately protected. So what does this mean? Because I've just called out the key consistent message. and what it means to us going forward. The one thing that we are doing also from Old Mutual and also industry is to drive financial inclusion. How we're doing this is developing solutions that then meet customers' needs. I think what the data or the report is telling us that we should be in a position where we meet our customers' needs as opposed to selling products. Financial education, or what we like calling at Old Mutual financial literacy, is also a critical part of this. Because when you know better, then you make better decisions, and especially around financial wellness.
The financial wellness monitor really does, connect those numbers to the ground, and it helps us to actually now get a feel of what the economy is really like. So, as mentioned, financial satisfaction among Kenyans, and what's, looking at that report, what I wanted to also highlight is most of the Kenyans that seem satisfied are younger people. So it's the 20 to 29-year-olds, the ones that are really participating in the gig economies. Kenyans are willing to actually make a difference in their lives. They're going out there to do things. I think every other person that you meet is trying to sell something to you, is on social media selling something, very innovative Kenyans. So the future looks bright. In the next 6 months, I think majority of Kenyans are very optimistic about their financial situation. About 70% are very optimistic of, what their financial situation is going to look like. There's been an improvement, of course in 2025 there was an improvement in the macroeconomic situation. When you look at inflation is slightly lower in 2025 compared to 2024. The older generation also is thinking about retirement, savings and that kind of thing, and we're seeing a lot more, increased savings in formal channels, the banks, the SACCOs. Of course, you save in a SACCO so that you can access 4 times your savings. I mean, that's the only reason you get into a SACCO. And then, in terms of borrowing, Kenyans are borrowing a lot, especially for households. I know we focus quite a bit on business savings, but business and borrowing, funding, sorry. And when you look at now individual consumers, you see them borrowing mostly from informal channels. Looking at the numbers, you're also seeing a bit of an increase in the people who are borrowing from formal channels, from banking, and even SACCOs are formal channels. So looking at the numbers going forward, it seems like Kenyans are now tapping into that formal sector.
The first thing that we're seeing, and I think this is encouraging, is what you're looking at here is we ask people to give us a sense of how satisfied they are with their finances. So this is your perspective on your own finances. It's not us saying we think you're satisfied because you have X, Y, Z. And what you can see here is that from 2023, we saw a drop in 2024 to 5.2. This is an average mean score. And that number has recovered to 5.9. So we're back at the same level we were at in 2023. And the reasons behind it, for the people who say that they are financially satisfied, so they gave a rating between 7 and 10. They're saying the reasons I'm financially satisfied is because, one, I'm more comfortable with my financial situation. So I have a little bit more wiggle room or bandwidth in my finances. I'm getting better at debt management. I'm able to save. And my business is doing better because I'm able to invest into my business. For the people who still gave a lower rating, which means they are financially dissatisfied, these are people who gave a score between 1 and 6. The reasons for them were the high cost of living, not having enough income to cover their needs, Arthur spoke to this earlier, and struggling to really find a better income job or opportunity, and not having enough money to expand their businesses. These are some of the insights that built and helped to build the Thrive platform, which is an Old Mutual platform, is looking at how does this impact your physical and mental health. And that number is down by 3%, which is a good indicator, but still quite high. 44% of people saying financial stress actually affects my physical and mental well-being. Things are actually getting a little bit better in the country. Their businesses are doing better. I spoke to this in the slide with people talking about their financial satisfaction, and they're expecting things to grow. They're seeing the agricultural sector, people very, very positive and optimistic about what is coming, what is happening. They're seeing their property investments, in particular for people who've invested in property, is starting to yield good returns and also finding better employment opportunities. So really great outlook, I think, from an optimism perspective. We are back to the levels that we were previously at in 2023, so lots of recovery from that point of view. So polyjobber is simply a person who has a side hustle or has another source of income outside of their main job, right? You could be freelancing, you could be moonlighting. I don't know if that phrase still gets used, but it's people who have a side hustle. And this is up 6% from 2024. So 26% of working Kenyans are polyjobbers. High. So overall, Kenyans feel quite positive about their well-being. They give very high scores when it comes particularly, I think, to financial well-being and relational or social well-being, as well as mental well-being. So I think quite positive to see that this is quite strong. Men do tend to have higher scores than women. Younger people tend to have higher scores than older people, and obviously the more affluent people are, the more they increase in terms of their scores around wellness.
Welcome back, and when you're seated, you know it's about to get down on matters entrepreneurship and conversations surrounding business and money. And like I mentioned before, this edition or this on this 7th day of April 2026, we are about to talk about beyond degrees, how to create a successful businesses that you have several employees, because most of the time our curriculum really focuses on us getting employed rather than allowing us or preparing us to create employment. And as we have already established in this show, having several conversations, that no government can create enough jobs for its citizens. So what should we be doing as young people? What should we do to discourage or to prevent degree apathy? Joining me this morning to have this conversation on Beyond Degree will be CEO of Nelada Insurance Agency, that is Anthony Mwendwa, and also Dr. Charity Njoka, who is a lecturer and patron of a very prospering club in Kenyatta University, that's the Finance Society of Kenyatta University. Allow me have the guests introduce themselves, and I'll begin by my immediate right. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Sylvia, and good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Anthony Mwendwa, born and raised in KUTV County, Mwingi Central, founder of Nelada Insurance Agency, a company I founded 9 years ago. I went to school at the local primary school. It's called Kalisas Primary School. Then proceeded to Machako School for my secondary education. Later to Dedan Kimathi University, where I pursued BSc Actuarial Science. And then after that, I went for my master's degree at Kenyatta University. I'm happy to be back here, where I did my MBA Finance. Thank you.
Karibu sana. It's good to have you as an alumni here with us. It's nice to have you on board and empowering the young minds that are left, that you left, that we are growing. You've mentioned 9 years, and I'm thinking, where was I 9 years ago? Someone was already beginning a business. Dr. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Sylvia, for hosting us as FSKU. I am the patron of FSKU and a lecturer also here at Kenyatta University for many, many years. So the reason maybe why we are here is to bridge what we teach in class and what Anthony and our students are going to have and what we wish for them to have, other than graduating and saying, and having placards, give me a job. We want them to create jobs. That's why we are here. And thank you so much for hosting us, Sylvia.
Karibu sana. And I love that you say we should be reducing that narrative of give me a job. Now let me begin from you, Sylvia. There's so many podcasts, YouTube videos, shows, and everything surrounding business, because this is a generation that is open or has access to a lot of knowledge in terms of business and how they can run their business. And if you ask anyone, what business will you want to begin? Almost 80% of those people will have an idea of the business they want to begin. So what separates those people who get to begin their businesses to those who stuck in the idea stage? What really pushes people to get to the actualization stage, or just generally beginning their businesses?
Thank you. One thing which limits especially the youth to get into business, it's lack of capital. Capital in this country has become a nightmare, especially for the youth. That is the reason why you find a youth has an idea. He or she wants to start a business. He or she doesn't have a capital. Then if you want to get a loan, you don't have a collateral. Take to the bank, you get a loan. That is a challenge. But as for my case, as an example, you can start from one, you have an idea. That is the baseline. How am I going to actualize this idea to become a reality? That is the start point. On my case for Nelada, when I got a job at Jubilee Insurance, then after graduation, I sat on that desk for around 3 months. And then because I was an underwriter, most of the business I used to get, they were from the insurance agents and insurance brokers. So while on that system, I asked myself, how do you come up with an insurance broker? How do you become an insurance agent? Because it's rare to get a walk-in in an insurance company. Like for yourself, you get to an insurance firm, like for example, Jubilee Insurance, or I see a Lion headquarters, you say I want a cover for my car. Most of the business insurance companies are brought in by the brokers and agents. So I looked at that opportunity and I said to look at how am I going to come up with an insurance broker? How am I going to start this thing? You Google, of course, you find the requirements. The main thing you have, in order to come up with an insurance agent, you must have done an insurance course, or you have done a certificate of proficiency. That is done at the College of Insurance. So that was the start point from my case. And again, this is about aggressiveness. You are a go-getter. You want to achieve this. What am I supposed to do? What do I need to do? Who do I need to consult? That scenario. So that case, I personally went to College of Insurance. Then of course I called my parents, called my father. I just explained to him, I want to go to College of Insurance. It's okay, just go. Fee, everything I'll sort out. Then I went to College of Insurance somewhere at South Sea. Then I registered to start the certificate of proficiency. I was so determined to have this insurance. That is why I decided to go back to school. By then, I was still doing my master's, because after graduation, that was 2016, April, I went direct to register for my master's degree. So I was still going for my classes at KU, the town campus, and then I decided going to classes at College of Insurance. Then after 2 weeks, I talked to my friend somewhere, and he told me, you know, when you have done actuarial science, you don't likely have to do certificate of proficiency, because you can use your degree certificate to start this firm. Then I realized, so I have the documents. Then I went and applied to the IRA, Insurance Regulatory Authority. I used my degree certificate. After some time, around 2017, around November, I got my certificate from IRA. Immediately I got the certificate from IRA. I left the insurance, Jubilee, the employment. And then I ran to the world.
You'll talk to us later about the fear of leaving employment and getting back to business, because it's a very scary move. But let me get from Daktari. What keeps people at the idea stage according to your perspective?
To me, what keeps people at the idea stage, I want to categorize it into ladies and men. And actually, even before we came here, I was talking about it, that sometimes men have an idea, but they think they require this big money. But what about a woman? A woman sometimes see an opportunity, and that's why you realize small businesses, many of them are being carried out by women, because women, you just want to multiply whatever little you have. So the issue of the idea stage stays because of what will people see me, how will people see me operating a small business, pushing a mkokoteni or pushing this and that. I think it also has an aspect of how your peers are going to view you, and especially for the boy child. And that's why for me sometimes I really advocate for a boy child. Get out of your cocoon, feel free. If you have an idea, you also require a mentor. That's what I was telling them. You require somebody to work with in that wherever. Though sometimes people say, if I tell my idea, it might be stolen. Somebody might run away with it. But in life, you require a mentor. Go to that particular person whom you really want to be. And I really like what Anthony is saying, that for him it was personal determination. But the question is, how many people have that personal determination? So if you don't have, in the mentorship field in which I am also in, even here in KU, and also at another association where I also serve as the chair of the CSR mentorship, that is Association of Women Accountants of Kenya, we normally tell people, if you want to be that person, find yourself in the space where that person is. Talk to that particular person and say, I want to be like you. Get that particular mentor. That person can actually tell you, shed off your fears. Start small. You can do it. And I think that is where the youth, they actually require mentorship. And these are some of the things which we normally have in the club on weekly basis, where we have people to tell us what to do. And I think that's the way to go. But every student, every person aspiring to be somewhere, you must have a mentor. You must seek mentors in whatever field they are in.
You mentioned a very important point that I've noted, the point of the fear of starting small. If I look at the current setup of this generation, it's not only the fear of starting small that I see among people. I see the fear of being seen to be doing a certain type of business. So there is also a phrase that goes, passion don't pay bills. So someone aspires to be a very great person, but then they're not there yet. Like you said, they don't have capital. But then these odd jobs, someone does not want to get to these odd jobs to get the capital they need to get to where they are. Now, coming back to Anthony, you mentioned earlier that after preparing, after getting your papers, you now shifted to your own business. Now, how long do you gauge yourself, or when do you know or identify that now I'm ready to move out of employment and now get into starting the business? At what point do you feel like I have enough capital, I have enough manpower to move to start my own business?
One thing, to start an insurance agency, you don't need money or that huge capital. What you need is your papers. If you have that certificate, for example, that an insurance certificate, and you have the IRA certificate, then you start insurance firm. But the key thing here is determination, your aggressiveness, your honesty. That is the most important thing. Social capital. That is the most important thing. Because, for example, if you want to start an insurance firm, one, you have to, I talk to you, I talk to people, I sell my policies, I sell my ideas. Now that's basically marketing. Now that is the capital you need to start an insurance agency. But the most important thing I told you is the certificate, an insurance course. That is a certificate you need. So, for example, for my case, when I started, I think I was extremely aggressive. That's what I can say, because I took up the risk. leaving employment, going home. I saw from that that question of what about your parents, you leave the employment, you go home, how will your parents take it? Like for my case, my mother was very worried. She was extremely worried. And you have left insurance, you have left job, maisha vile ni ngumu, so what are you going to do? Unatoka kazi na watu wanatafuta kazi. That was it. And I told her, I have made a decision and I am starting this thing. When I left Jubilee, I had only 37,000 shillings. So I bought a printer and a small table. The print was around 24,000, small table and a chair. I went and sat down and said, now this is Nelada Insurance Agency. And I am the CEO and I have started today. That is how I started.
All right. Now, how will it be like for someone who, you say that starting an insurance company does not really require intensive capital. What of someone who wants to start a business that actually requires capital?
That is the main challenge we have now. Not even for the youth, even for other people who want to start a business without the capital. One thing, what I would encourage, and what I would say, if you want to start a business but you have that idea initially, as the Dr. Charity has said, you need first to find a stepping stone. That's a mentorship somewhere. You start from that point. The biggest challenge also we have with the youth of today and this generation, it's lack of patience. This generation does not have patience. They want to get rich fast. They want to get money today. You think you tell someone you can wait for 10 years. No. That one is not possible. That is the reason why some of people go into depression. They get frustrated because you have started, for example, a mtumba business. You have a shop here at this market here, EKM market, and then after 1 month, you haven't gotten clients. You have to pay rent. Then you say, this business is not working. You close it down. You go and get a loan somewhere, you get a boda. You see, this business is not doing good. You close that one. Lack of consistency. What I would encourage, one, you find mentorship, you have patience, and then you be consistent in what you are doing. Patience always pays. You can do step by step. You can't, even Rome was not built in a day. It takes time, it's a process. To me, that is exactly what I can tell the young generation. It's a process and it's not easy. Consistency.
And you said patience.
Yes.
You know, this generation is a generation who will tell you 30,000 salary is a mediocre salary.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Dr. coming back to you, how do you think is the current curriculum preparing the young person to be an entrepreneur or a job seeker? And what can be done to change whatever is happening?
Okay, thank you, Sylvia. Let me speak from the perspective of the business, because we have diverse courses. And even those other courses, even medicine and the law, all of them, they are being told that see a business in what you are doing. So the curriculum which we have in all the areas, it is theoretical, yes, but it has an aspect of practical, because many students, they actually go for attachment, mandatory and even not mandatory. And once they are there, that gives them an opportunity for them to see opportunities beyond what we have taught them in class. But one of the things which we normally say in class is, like for example, me personally, I normally say, beyond what we are teaching you here, accounting for what, business, finance, see a business aspect in all these things which we are teaching you, so that you not only pass the exams, but you can do something with that information. Actually, in one of the classes here in KU, I have a student who today is an advisor on investments, and this is a student who just graduated here, I think 2017, but that person is making money by advising people on what stocks to buy, what bonds to buy, and all that piece of information. So that which they learn in class, it only takes that. Do I call it what Anthony is saying? That go-getting, be a go-getter. See that piece of information which you have as something which another person doesn't have, and you ask yourself, how can I make that other person? How can I get money from that other person? Actually, I was telling them there is a theory which we call it OPM, other people's money. That in business you don't make money from the air, you don't make business from the trees. You make business from other people's money. I mean, other people, you get money from other people by satisfying the needs which they want. Every person has a need. Every person must eat, every person must sleep, every person must work, every person must do so many things. And that person has money, satisfy that need. The only thing which you need to do if you're in business, ensure that your income does not go over 70% to your expenses. Minimize your expenses. And I think that is the reason why some of the businesses fail, because any business or any income which a business person has, it goes now to moving from one house. Now you want to upgrade because your income is increasing. You want now to buy another car because your small car is not working. You want maybe to move, those kind of things. So as long as you're in that small business or whatever you are doing, ensure that your income does not service more than 70% of your expenses. In other words, live small, save, invest. And I think that's how Anthony has expanded, even if I'm not here to speak on his behalf. But I think I've been talking to him many times concerning this Neranda and how he hasn't been doing it.
Plowing back profits. I love that. Now let's talk about Anthony. You've been in the education sector and in the business sector at the same time. So you can bring us knowledge of both. Most of this upcoming generation, there is something that is slowly building up, that is degree apathy. How would you rate degree versus skill? Because in as much as we are promoting people to get educated, there's also the aspect of skill. So what is your opinion on the same?
Okay, if you look at the current curriculum, for example, the CBC, it's more about the skill. I think that is the reason why the Ministry of Education, the government decided to change the curriculum to go to CBC. And that is the reason why the national government, they are focused on TVETs and the polytechnics and technical institutions. Those are the skills. But the current curriculum, I can say it's good because one, it opens up your mind. It's not a must that you do a course today, for example, become and you work in a bank. You can use that knowledge to start a business and do other things. It broadens your mind and also your level of interaction with other people. It also builds confidence because you're always confident. If I start this business and fail, I can still seek for an employment. At that point, you are confident. You have a fallback plan, and you have an alternative. But as we move, it will be more of skill development, because you look like, for example, the CBC. You find that a grade 6 kid can draw, can do some crochets, such things. As a grade 6 kid, it's more of a skill nowadays. Even as you see like something like the AI now. You know, the artificial intelligence will get so many people out of business. Yes, because it's more about the skills. But this won't mean that people don't need even to go to school and this the new curriculum, because the current curriculum we have at universities now, it's more theoretical. It's more theoretical, but few courses are practical. Like for example, medicine, they are a bit practical. Engineering, they are a bit practical. But for example, if you do something like and I don't say it's a bad course, for example, like to say a human resource, for example, you see that there is nowhere you can see this is practical in doing this. It's more about it's theoretical. There is a certain I want to quote a certain former MP from Tanzania is called John H. Sometimes he used to talk about some of the things we learn in school nowadays. Like, for example, the parts of an insect. We have head, thorax, abdomen. How will that now help you in the current life situations now? It doesn't. Nowadays, it can't work, because he was arguing that you see, like the Indians and the Chinese. They come and mine that Tanzania is the only country which has Tanzanite. So the Chinese and the Indians, they come and mine their Tanzanite. They go with it. They train their people how to mine Tanzanite, but their countries don't have Tanzanite. You see, but here in Tanzania we are doing parts of an insect. You see, I think we need to get more realistic on the skill development more than the theoretical part.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Junior was coming to, actually he's raising a very critical point here of our curriculum. If you were to change something in our current curriculum, what would it be?
Let me say that I wouldn't change anything. What I would do is that if I was sitting at the helm of the Ministry of Education, Higher National Education, I would ensure that all the learners, before they complete their undergraduate, they have been attached to a working institution. Those people who are doing, let's say, BCom, let's say HR, they get into the HR department. Those persons who are doing finance, they get into the finance, so that they can get this hands-on. Actually, today it is very hard for a student to get internship. They beg. And some of the courses, it is mandatory that they do these internships. But to get an internship, in some organizations, they even charge even 20,000 shillings for you to do an intern there. So I think if I was in a position, I would ensure that every person has field experience in whatever field. The only thing which we are aware of is something like the medicine, because they have to go for internship. But what about all the other courses? So that is what the ministry should actually ensure, that every learner before they graduate, it is mandatory, and they provide that free of charge, without charging. And that is my call.
So what exactly is our problem? Is it a curriculum problem, or is it a mindset problem?
I would say that it is a gap from the ministry perspective or from the government perspective. And actually that is what should change, because all these ones, once they graduate and they go to the field, they are normally asked, do you have any experience? Remember, the experience cannot just come from being in class learning. And even to get that experience, now it is next to impossible. You go to a place, you are told, we are already full. What if it was made mandatory? The same way NYS was mandatory those years before joining university, that before you graduate, whatever course you are doing, you must be attached either to a government or even to a private. But one of the things I really appreciate from the government is to create the issue of the internships within government institutions, and they are paying something small, which again has no effect on the taxation on the farms. I think that should be actually be made mandatory. I think we should be actually be able to give the students some experience, and even for them to know this course which they have done, do they require another certification? Just like Anthony is saying, what is it which they are seeing in the field during that period of internship? Yeah, I think that's what I would ask.
That's something that is less explored.
Yes.
I think someone graduates and then you get to the market, you realize that there is a very huge gap between what you learned and what you are doing. I think that's also a reason why most companies want to charge, because they look at it as another class.
Yeah, actually.
you have gone through your years and then you're coming, you know nothing.
Yes.
And then someone has to be given the responsibility of teaching you again. Anyway, I think we are not settled if it's a mindset problem or a problem. Now, coming back to you, today we were talking about growing to 40 employees, businesses to up to 40 employees, and I'm very sure that it's not something that is accidental. So what structures does one need to get to a point where you feel like I need employees? You feel like, okay, I need to delegate, I need to offload my shoulders, I need to stop micromanaging, I need to stop being an accountant, a salesperson, a marketer, I need to have others on board. At what point do you know that now I'm ready for this step?
One thing I've learned about business, business itself requires for those positions as you start and as you move. For example, you start alone. You find this work is becoming too much. I need to have someone on board to assist me. No, I need a marketer. It is a process. And actually it's a going concern, because you cannot start a company today with 50 employees on the start. They just come one by one at a point. On my case, when I started the insurance, I was only myself at that point. Actually, I got another person after I started going outside and doing marketing, because as the director and the owner and the founder of the business, you are the best marketer, because you know exactly what you need and you know exactly what your business entails. So at that point when I started, I got someone on board, and then I started moving around to secondary schools. Actually, that was my baseline. I used to do the life insurance policies and non-motor. That I used to go to secondary schools. I go to secondary school, I talk to the principal, I explain to him all those classes of insurance. There's burglary, the personal accident, the motor vehicle, the Labor Workers Benefit Act, the contractual risks, all those ones. And when I got to those schools, I used also to do the valuation. Having an advantage of doing actuarial science, I could really do an estimation and approximations. Like, for example, I could come to a class, I can approximate the cost. That would really assist me to do the quotation. I send to the insurance firm, we do the quotation, then I bring back to school. They do valuation with the board in order to see whether to ensure this school is around 100,000, 50,000. That is exactly what I used to do. And from that point, I had to get other people to train them to go to other schools, because it's wide. After some time, I realized, for example, when the clients have given insurance for motor, they get accidents. I used to hire towing trucks. And you know, these towing trucks, the insurance, when you get insurance cover, there is the towing fees is included in that cover when you pay the premium. So when these people do towing, they used to be paid by the insurance. Then I sat down and asked myself, what if I was the one who was owning this truck? I would be plowing back this money back to my business. So I went ahead and got a towing truck. That is one. So I had to employ a driver, I had to employ another person. You see, now the business is expanding. So in order to bridge this gap, and then at least to give my clients confidence that I can get insurance for this insurance agency. They also have a towing truck in case I have an emergency, then I'll be rescued. So you know, you are creating the customer satisfaction at this point in time. So after some time, that towing truck, that one wasn't enough, because some people would call me, so I had to buy another one. So that is exactly how my business expanded. And then this was a different entity. I just registered in Nelada Recovery Services. So at this point, I have Nelada Insurance Agency and I have Nelada Recovery Services. So I'm running two companies. So automatically, the number of employees, yes, that is exactly what I did.
I love that story. It paints a picture of a business that is growing and demanding, like creating that demand of expansion by itself, not artificial demands that I need to have this and this. All right. Have you ever made a mistake that almost costed you your business?
I can't really say I did a mistake. I think what I can say from that business, I had a lot of grace. I've been very consistent, because having done insurance and having done actuarial science, one thing as an actuarial analyst, you are very prospective. you look at things in a very, very different way. You can even calculate the moves. Even when you want to do something, you can even approximate the next result, what will happen. One thing, I've been very consistent, and again, there are a few principles of insurance I really like to apply, and I want to encourage our viewers, those who are listening to us, and most of the insurance agents and insurance brokers. In the principles of insurance, there is a principle of insurance called the principle of indemnity and principle of utmost good faith. I think that has been my driving force. Utmost good faith and principle of indemnity. Indemnity, it simply means restoring back the person to this original position before an occurrence of a risk. Whereby, for example, if you are my client and you have insurance with my firm, and you have a claim, or your car has gotten an accident, or not even your car, even your business which you have insured with me, you have an issues, imechomeka, such things. And then I follow up that procedure and make sure you are compensated. For example, you had lost 500 million, and then you have been compensated 500 million or 600 million. You haven't gone at a loss. I've just turned you back to your position, your original position, before the occurrence of a risk. That is the indemnity. That will build trust in me, because you'll talk to, for example, Dr. Charity, you tell, I was insured by Nelada, and now my business is okay. The other thing is the principle of utmost good faith. It's all about honesty. You just need to be honest. You know, some insurance, there are so many hidden clauses in insurance. When I give you an insurance, I usually sit down with you and tell you there is clause, this means this means this means this. In an event you have an accident, for example, or you have a claim, I do an end to end. There is no gap for that claim to fail. Why? Because I've gone through this process. This is what I've learned in school, and then applying it outside there. So what I can simply say, in business, the business itself, it expands itself if you are honest to your clients and if they trust in you. Yes.
All right. I love the part where you say that you have to be honest with your clients, because most businesses you see around, especially now that we are moving to a digital era, you'll even be afraid to get to purchase something online.
Yes.
With the narrative, smart boys, smart girls, Chezoya town, because of lack of honesty, and then the business fails at some point. But then with the growing of a brand that is honest and all that, it gets business to the same level. Now, as we bring this to an end, Daktari, there's a narrative that goes on with young people, the illusion about the job market. What do you think is a misconception or a belief that young people have that has misguided them to what is really in the job market, or what is really in entrepreneurship as they aspire to begin their businesses?
Sylvia, if I get you, nowadays people think that once you have graduated, you have a first class, you have a second class upper, there is a job waiting for you. Let me say that there's no job waiting for you. These jobs, it is for us. It is for the youth to create them. And again, just as you had said earlier, they have that something of I can't start something at 30,000 shillings. It was my maintenance for 1 week in KU or in wherever university. So coming to the job market, one of the things which the viewers and especially the learners who are exiting from the university should know is that jobs or enterprises don't just exist for you to be absorbed in them. You should be at the forefront of creating them. And I keep on giving this scenario. Take a person who has done law, take a person who has done actuarial, take another person who has done finance, another person who has done marketing. They can actually create this empire within a shorter period of time. As much as the capital is not available, I believe, us as their parents, we can be able to support that startup. And I think that is the way to go. And I hear some people actually challenging these youngsters anytime they are being taught to. You guys, think outside the box. What is it which you don't have? You have everything. Look at your papers. Somebody has like what Anthony has. Another person has this. Another person has this. But I think the issue of individualism is actually what is eating each and every one of us. You want to start alone. You want to be seen. You just want to surprise your friends. Why can't you just come together? And actually, some of the businesses which have been started, and even some of these big businesses, you hear people started somewhere, 2 of them together. So I think the issue is coming out from the idea that there is an opportunity waiting for me outside there, and come up with the idea of I am going to create one. The same way we can hear Anthony speaking about it, and I like the passion which he had. But I think now the thing is, how many persons here or in your class, if you are the viewer, if you are the student who graduated last year, how many persons can you say that I know this person, this is a person of integrity, this is a person who has this kind of capabilities, this is the person who has these resources, and we can create something. We are here. The parents are here to support you. I think that's what I can say.
All right, that's very brilliant. And I think that's something that most young people really overlook. If I had known that back in 2023 when I was graduating, I could be having $1 million enterprise right now. Anyway, time is not on our side. I'd like for you to give us your final remarks, and also Dr. in a very in a minute or so as we wind this up, please.
What I can say finally to the young generation, there is no perfect time to start a business. Start now. Yes.
That is powerful. Start now. Dr.
Yeah, as we wind up, Sylvia, again, I want to say that this is an opportunity, which is a very good opportunity to discuss with the world. As the patron of FSKU, we have had mentorships, and I think this is also one of the live mentorships, which we shall be sharing with our viewers outside there. Let me also say that mentorship has been part of me. When I joined KU many years ago as a lecturer, I serve in the mentorship of students here in KU. I also serve in the community, that is, I'm a director at Association of Women Accountants of Kenya, an elective position, where I also serve as the chair of the CSR and mentorship. And again, there we pair the mentees and the mentors. Again, these are people who are working. And I think by this, I'm making a call to our viewers outside there. Please partner with us, FSKU, so that we can continue mentoring this young generation, so that when they get out, they're not picking placards on the streets, but they have something. So thank you so much, our viewers, and thank you so much, Sylvia, for hosting us.
KU students?
No, it is... for the one for the
partnerships, FSKU.
Yes, I'm saying the people outside, the organizations. If you're outside there, partner with us. We are calling upon you to stand with us, so that our students here, who are your brothers, who are your sisters, who are your children, they do not hold placards. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. It was nice having you this morning for this brilliant discussion. I guess I've learned a lot. I don't know, probably more than the viewers. But that's what this show does. Sometimes you get to understand what you didn't know, a thing or two. That's why we bring the experts, and always the experts who are certified to bring you concrete information that is, verified. Coming up next is a discussion, of course, with what is always happening every Tuesday on KUTV. That is, it is called Health Unit, a show that premieres right here on Kenyatta University. We'll be having artists to perform in the SEM. They'll be talking to us about this current generation of theatre. How is it like? Is it sustainable? Is the passion paying bills? Or is it something that is just for fun? Stay tuned for that discussion after the break.
Jina langu ni Dorcas Ngere, ama ukipenda wakati mwingine huwa napenda kujita the news lady, na nimetoka shule ya wasichana ya Masai, inapatikana Narok County. Shule yangu inajulikana kama shule kuu katika kaunti yetu ya Narok kwa sababu ya, tuseme, kwa apart from the academics, inajulikana kwamba ni shule ambayo inashikilia culture. They do so well in co-curricular activities like music, drama and the others. Mwalimu ni mwalimu chifu principal ambaye anaitwa Sylvia na rafiki yangu mwalimu ni Madam Faith Rona pamoja na Rachel Sintamei, na mwanafunzi rafiki yangu wa karibu anaitwa Becky Kilesi. Tuko naye darasa moja, na mimi nimekuja kama a journalism club, na ni mara yangu ya pili, kwa maana ni mara yangu ya pili kuzuru katika televisheni hii, kwa sababu mara ya kwanza kuna kile ambacho sikuwa nimekielewa vizuri, ndio nikakuja kujua zaidi wakati huu. Na kile ambacho nimejua ni kwamba kwa editing nimejua kwamba kabla news ifikie hapa kuna mahali ambayo inapitia ndio iweze kufikia hapa na iweze kuonekana live kwa TV. Kwa mara nyingine, Rais William Ruto amewasuta wapinzani katika ziara ya ukaguzi wa miradi ya makazi ya bei nafuu jijini Kisumu. Ruto aliwashutumu kwa kusambaza siasa za migawanyiko na kukosa ajenda za maendeleo. Rais alitoa kauli hizo akiwa na Waziri Mkuu wa zamani Raila Odinga na kuwataka Wakenya wajikite katika umoja na maendeleo ya kitaifa. Chama cha Democracy for the Citizen Party DCP Cleophas Malala amewapata afueni ya muda baada ya mahakama kutoa agizo ya kuzuia kukamatwa kwake. Hatua inayomlinda dhidi ya kukamatwa na polisi pamoja na idara ya upelelezi wa jinai DCI. Malala alishtakiwa kwa kusababisha vurugu na uchochezi wakati wa mkutano wake wa makaribisho ya nyumbani katika kaunti ya Kakamega mnamo Mei 24 mwaka 2025. Na kila ambacho mjajua labda ni kidato, mimi ni wa kidato cha 4 na ningependa kuwa journalist, anchor. Hiyo ndio ningependa kuwa in future, na pia nimeiona shule ya Kenyatta University na nimeipenda. Na acha nichukue fursa hii kuwashukuru watazamaji ambao wameacha kazi zao na kutazama runinga ya KU. Asante kwa wakati wako, na pia nashukuru walimu wangu, na pia nashukuru nyinyi wote ambao mmesikiza au mmenisikiza nilipokuwa nikiripoti hadi wakati huu.
My name is Tiffany Nishora from the Great Masai Girls Form 2. All about my school, I like the academics, performance, and also the teachers there. My favorite teacher is Madam Faith Rono. My favorite subject is English. All about the culture, and is also known of performing and in co-curricular activities. We learn about, we came here as journalism club. Came here to showcase or to learn more about journalism, since most of us, we want to be journalists in future. So we have to know it better before performing or going to the career direct. President William Ruto used his inspection tours of affordable housing projects in Kisumu to criticize the opposition for what he termed agendaless politics, standing alongside former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, who donated 5 acres of land for the project. Ruto accused his critics of fueling division instead of championing development. Deputy Party Leader of the Democracy for the Citizen Party DCP, Cleophas Malala, has been granted anticipatory bail for the High Court, shielding him from arrest by the police and the Directorate of the Criminal Investigation DCI. Malala had been accused of incitement and causing chaos during the homecoming rally in Kakamega County on May 24th. He may have been given 72 hours to surrender, but the court ruled the arrest violated his rights. The court ordered that Malala should be arrested or detained and instead allowed his lawyers to appear on his behalf on DCI questioning by June 3rd, 2025. What I can say about our school is the best. I love my school, teachers, and those and the non-teaching staff. Also, I say hi to our principal wherever she is, and thank you for the viewers, and we are so grateful for the TV show on KUTV.
To get you started, hapo kwa Sayuni Referral Hospital. Na hapa hatufanyi mchezo, hapa ni experts peke yake. I'm telling you, this hospital is not what you think.
Unamuumiza bana, wacha.
Watu wewe
Ni nini baya wewe?
Our people united shall never be defeated.
All right, a people united can never be defeated. We are seated once again, ready for a discussion that I promised earlier, where stage meets the screen. And being a Biashara Tuesday, we are going to talk about the film industry, or the business of theatre, and how this is affecting, or how it's helping those people in the field, or those who are planning to get in the field. You're going to get insights on the same this morning. Gentlemen, I have two very great gentlemen with me here in studio. Allow me have them introduce themselves to you.
Hello everyone, I'm Frederick Mito, a professional actor, writer, director, a full-time artist. Yeah, thank you.
Karibu sana Frederick.
Hello everyone, my name is Derek Omondi. I am also a director, an actor, TV producer, TV director. Thank you so much.
Karibuni sana. And when I'm having directors in studio, nikoshwa mshaanza kunitoa makosa. Huyu umefanya hii, umefanya hii. You've been in the industry for quite some time, the both of you. That is so amazing. I went through your profile and it's very interesting. Now that you've been in the industry for a while now, how would you gauge the progress from the time you got in, or from the time you thought of I can act, I can get into this industry, and right now, what has the progress been like for you?
I feel like there's a great progress in our industry, in the fact that there are much more opportunities than a while back. And you know, when there is high supply, demand is also high. So yeah, we have much more opportunities and great spaces for us to explore more with our art and craft. It's just that, yeah, with them being more, inamaanisha now kidogo you have to do more so that you can earn more. You get what I mean? Yeah, so yeah, ile time ilikuwa kidogo, ilikuwa moja, but unakafunga for the entire year. But right now there are too many, but kidogo in the pocket is not reflecting. Yeah. But at least we appreciate the fact that now we have a number of productions running, and we have much more opportunities. Yeah.
Derek, talk to us about the milestones and how you feel about them.
Actually, I like to touch on the progress also, just a bit before I go to that. I feel like there's a tremendous growth in the industry, even as we are talking right now. Because when I first entered the industry, the opportunities that are available were really scarce. You know, you had to fight your way through to get to the top. You get that? You had to do a lot of work, so much work. You know, you'll run from one production to another, so that at least your name be up there. But I think I like to thank the government for coming in with a new education system, because it is giving us a very key platform. Now, you know, film is now in the CBC sector, running all the way from grade 4 all the way up to now the senior school. Even the grade 10 are already ushered into the film and whatever. So it is opening up a lot of channels for the industry that we as people who are really vested into it can tap into several sectors. There are a lot of departments that are also coming through. For example, the major challenge that we've been facing as a film industry, or even TV, is the distribution aspect. and also the exhibition, because if you look at the number of cinemas that are around, how many cinemas can you find in Eldoret, Kisumu, Nairobi, Mombasa, leave alone even all those, even just in a normal small town that people want to experience film. You get that? Yet this is something that has been there since time immemorial, you know, when the people of Vioja Makamani, you know, the Vitimbi guys started doing the TV stuff. It is way back long, you know, and I feel like we had a longer time to really do a lot, but I don't know where the rain started beating us exactly, that it delayed us so much, because we don't have the distribution channels. Many people are fighting to be actors, many people are fighting to want to be directors, to want to be, you know, in fact majority just want to be actors. But again, the main question in the industry is, who's going to distribute your films? Where are you going to exhibit your films? You get that?
There's also a challenge of if you hear those who are in the industry a little while behind, kule nyuma, they say that before they would go to cinema halls and theaters and wait for gigs to come out. But these days, everyone has a phone. You can record their TikToks, their, you know, short videos and everything. Everyone can shoot a content of themselves. So where does it put you as a professional in terms of competing with this person for attention of, because viewers, sisi ni wale wale. Where does it put competition at? Where begin with you then?
I think the competition, is rather stiff. You know, especially with the fact that the emergence of the content creation industry. But I love the fact that even the content creators themselves, they are looking for expert filmmakers when they now want to grow. You see what Crazy K now is now doing. He's now moving from content creation. It can be YouTube, yes, but he's dreaming bigger, and he understands for him to reach where he wants to be, then he needs professional and experts. So I feel it's still a win-win situation, because they're gonna do it and get it out there in the YouTube. But again, they're gonna need the experts to come in through to collaborate, because the industry is a very collaborative industry. And again, when it gets into now the marketing or the business sector of it, I think that with due time, we really need to get out of the mentality of YouTube. It is coming, yes. It is a good platform for us to get the audience, because for you to get the attention of the, you know, the sponsors and people who are going to feed money into your projects, you need to prove to them that indeed you have the numbers. And where do you reflect your numbers? YouTube, social media generally. And that comes with, you know, the simple things that you do to market to the people outside there. How is your TikTok accounts active? You know, in TikTok you can't give them that big bulk of content. You need to cut them short, the short contents that you produce. Majorly you do that to gain the numbers. But once you've gained the numbers, I think we need to reach a bridge whereby now we are getting into the higher level. So the higher level means we need to sit down as an industry and now discern exactly how we are going to form the distribution channels. Showmax right now, it is at the verge of being closed. A lot of producers are, you know, are in tension right now, because they don't know what's going to happen next. You know, it is the new challenge, conundrum that we are facing as an industry. But again, it's opening our eyes that we need not to, you know, to depend on external distributors. We need now to sit down as a country, sit down as a continent in Africa, and discern our own distribution. So it's still a win-win. We have the social media through content creation to grow our numbers, but again, now we need to think bigger in terms of business.
Right. And Frederick, what do you think about this competition in the digital space?
Personally, I feel like I'll answer that in two ways. One as an actor and the other one as a producer. I think one as an actor, I feel like we just need to understand that there's a very great difference between content and now acting for screen. Yeah, there is a great difference. I feel like the problem that we are now trying to do as I can put it as now Africans is trying to use artists as marketers. So we are trying to find artists who have great followership and numbers in social media, so that their numbers can reflect in our film. So at the end of it, we saw some of the people who are not that top notch, and we leave people who are great artists just because they don't have numbers or they don't have followership. So yeah, to some extent I feel like social media is doing great actors bad, because now we are replacing great actors with people who have followership. Which is not good. It means now we are not going to have a great performance, but we are going to, let's say, sell the show. But that's one of the reasons as to why one of the shows which make it to the big and major platforms being bashed out by so many people. They're saying that was, if I don't know whether you do watch the reviews from some of the film critics in Kenya. They're like, yeah, it was not.
I was about to ask you about the same, because you'll hear someone say that Kenya. I don't watch Kenyan content or Kenyan movies because they look so amateurish and all that.
Exactly.
So that could be the reason why this is so upcoming and so much
that's the reason. We have so many great actors in this country. So many. How I wish you could interact with the artists that are out here who are so dope, but they don't have the opportunity simply because they are not. They don't have followership. They don't have numbers. Because content creators, they do, because they move with trends. Right now, they can just dance up Burukanga because he has features. You know what I mean? They will get followership from whichever places. So yeah, you find there's another dope actor who can't pull the up Burukanga thing, and yeah, she won't have the followership. But now if you look at it from this other angle, as a now producer or people who want to bring our to give our industry much more viewership, it's good because now we will have more eyes, more Kenyan and African eyes watching us. Like, instead of them consuming their Western content, they will have to consume ours. In as much as its content is not that quality or is not top notch or industry standard, but they are watching Kenya, and at the end of it all, it's a win-win. When my brother win or sister win, I win. And in the long run, we know that some of as my brother has also said, they are now trying to incorporate aspects of filmmaking. There's a great difference between content and film. So they're trying to nowadays they're trying to cease from using phones to now using cameras. What does that mean? We'll have a cameraman being involved. They're trying to have directors to direct their content. I see Austin as a director and other content creators. So it means they're trying to bring professionals, which mean in the long run we will have unemployable opportunities for filmmakers and also artists in general.
Let's get real, especially for the young person who aspires to be, let me not say a content creator, let me say a filmmaker or someone in the creative industry. Are there really opportunities that this brings, or it's just the visibility? Because if you talk to most artists, you will hear them complain. So what exactly keeps you in the game despite all these complaints?
Like me, or to someone else? Like me, there are opportunities are there, but they are so minimal. What personally me I'm trying to do is I know where I'm seeing myself in the next 5, the next 10, so I'm trying to build my own castle by myself. So generally I don't look at it from a today thing or tomorrow's thing, but I see it from a 5-year thing, what I'm trying to build. So basically what I'm trying to say is, there is I don't want to say there is nothing, but there is something small right now, but that can sustain me for quite some time as I wait for the bigger fish.
All right, Derek, from where you sit, does this bring opportunity, or it's just for visibility? And this is especially an advice to a young person who aspires to be in the industry.
I feel like opportunities are there. There are so much opportunities, but the problem is The industry is so much gated. Like, you'll find somebody's there for a very long time. They don't want to leave. They just want to be there. And then you as a young person, you want to enter, but the person doesn't want to leave and do something else. So again, it makes the opportunities to be scarce. And then also I feel like as an industry, our system is so much rigid. It's still not open. You get that? That's why everybody has this, what I can call the blue sea mentality, whereby we are all running in one direction, just as I said earlier, and we are forgetting about other things. How many people are doing documentaries, production-wise? Very minimal. How many people are doing animations? Very minimal. You get that? So there are several untapped opportunities that are there, but many people fear to go to them because maybe they feel it's not the ideal thing. I want to be seen, I also had the mentality, when I was entering campus and starting to do film and theater, I was looking at myself as this actor who will be always on TV and everything and that. You get that? But as I was going forward, I realized, no, everybody is rushing towards there. But there are several places that people don't want to tap into that many people just don't know. For example, we have State House Media. Do you know that State House itself has a branch that does its own films and content and everything, but it doesn't have people? A friend of mine just got employed in a certain big company that is now focusing on events, but they have a film department, and he was telling me they usually don't have the idea of producing film, yet they have the money. They just don't have people to give them the idea. That's what he realized. People to come and tell them, hey guys, by the way, we can start films and be doing films that are going to align with our brand and everything, and this and this and that. And when he first introduced that thing, people were like, wow, we never thought of it like that way. We just wanted to focus on events, but we never knew we can actually use film to challenge them to promote our events and so on. So I feel it's there, but it's just dead because the system is so much, entangled into one particular direction. So to anybody wishing to join, just come with an open mentality and think outside the box. Don't come with the normal thing that you see someone on TV, you want to be like them. No, aspire to be greater than them, and also do a lot. It is open to create your own. This industry is not giving you a place that has already been established. It is giving you a lot of platform to establish your own within it. You get that? That's why even us, we decided to just form our production and do whatever we're doing. And right now it's going to be airing on TV, and we've moved.
Now that you mentioned that, I was about to get to that. Now talk to us about the production of this show and the milestones that you've made on it, the challenges that you faced, because the previous discussion that we had was of young people trying to create their own jobs and not relying on employment. So how has it been like for you in creating your own space and creating your own employment?
It has been very tough, actually, especially the fact that you are a young person. Some of these rooms that you enter to go and sell ideas and pitch ideas to them, you meet very old people who have been there for so long, people who have the gray hair, and they first lower their spectacles like this and look at you, and when they see you, like my brother here, when he first came here, before you gave him small assistance somewhere, they have already judged you. You get that? So for them to trust you, and you need a lot of money. Producing, especially for a TV series, you need a lot. We are talking about millions here. So tell me, you see us, the two of us, we're dressed smartly, we are speaking well, we are doing everything good, we are qualified, we are educated, but again, we are starting for the first time. And we tell you, for us to do a great job, we have the skills, yes, but we're telling you, for us to do that job, we need 5.6 million on top. Are you going to give us the 5.6 million? You're going to have doubts. So we are experiencing a lot of doubt from our elders who are already in the industry, especially in handling budget and everything in that. So that's the major challenge we faced in trying to establish our own industries. But we thank the people who have held our hands and trusted us with small, giving us small to prove ourselves as we are moving forward. Also getting actors, there are certain aspects of storytelling that we believe in. We don't believe in storytelling that is just casual. Our stories are, well intended. They have a specific intention. They have a specific touch and tone. And there are certain actors that you really wish to work with, but you cannot afford them. because you still don't have the budget that you wanted to. So you'll have to settle for what you have, majorly going for collaborations and going for friends and everything. You tell them, my guy, we are still at the low level. I understand all of us, we are trying to work. So you pitch an idea. It's like pitching an idea. I come to you and tell you, you're my friend, and I know you're also struggling to reach the industry. So I have this production that I'm working it. I cannot pay you the amount that I need to pay you right now. But if you're willing, come, let's join forces. We do this thing, and then we see where it's going to take us through. I have a plan. You lay out your plan, be open, tell them this, we are starting from point A to point Z. If we miss out point Z, this is another plan that we have. You get that? And once they understand that, they come in through, and you people it's more of collaborative and understand.
All right. Now, it aligns with what our previous guests were saying here, that creating a business as young people without capital, which is the very big challenge, it's important that you identify yourself. Wewe umefanya BCom, unaweza tufanyia marketing. Wewe umefanya accounting, okay, wewe unaweza kuwa accountant and forming a business as a whole. Now, Frederick, from where you sit, where do you think Health Unit is going to, the progress that you anticipate for Health Unit as a production, and the milestone that you wish to achieve as a production team?
First of all, to me, Health Unit was I just wanted it to send some form of a statement. I just wanted to tell people that we have potential. There is a lot of potential in us as Westwood. There is a lot of potential with the team, with me, because as we were starting, no one was giving us that an ear or giving us opportunity for us to even sell the idea to him or her, because they were like, who are you, what have you done before? So this was a form of me introducing myself to the industry and introducing my own co-production to the game. So where am I seeing it? I'm seeing it as one of the biggest show in the country. If God will allow us to be alive, that's the only thing that I feel can stop us from achieving what I see, because the show has a lot of potential, and I just wish that people should watch it and view it the way I viewed it while I was working on it. It's such a dope show. And another thing, you asked something about the challenges. You didn't give me the opportunity to address it. So one of the challenges that personally I can feel that my brother failed to mention was, one thing about this Gen Z whole thing is that we are revolutionaries. We believe in some of the things that don't sit well with some of the people on the other side of the table. So it's like we are trying to force some things down their throat, and personally we feel like those are the things that are working, and I don't know why we are so rigid on things that are not working for us. For a very long time we've been crying and lamenting, why is our industry not growing, why are we not reaching some limits? But it's simply because we don't want to lower ourselves to the audience level and start working on the things that we really want as audience. Like, for instance, when you watch what worked for you and what didn't work for you, and we as artists, do we really go to the level of us interacting with the normal mama mboga mwananchi in the shacks there? What are their sentiments? Because they don't have this film knowledge thing, but what are their sentiments? Because they are the majority. In the world, what's the percentage of artists? We are maybe 0.00001%. The other percentage are not artists, and they are the ones we are creating for. So why don't we just create what impresses them, what entices them? So that's one of the challenge, because we are trying to change the whole style, the whole approach. And if you watch Health Unit, you might feel it, in as much as we are trying to also incorporate with what has been working, but we are trying to tease some things that we feel should be addressed or should be approached differently. All
right. That got me thinking. But time is really not on our side. I wish to ask more about that and the journey. And this is an industry that has really many questions. But I guess we'll get to have you on board some other times because this is a show that's ongoing. So we'll probably get to have you on board even on Art and Culture Monday to talk more on the same. And I pray that you get to a level where you're producing very many episodes, like a show that you watch and you're like, well, this show is very long and all of it is enticing. Something like House of Cards. Okay, I don't have examples to give Zara Kevin, but something like that. And I hope that this will be among the shows that I mentioned, Kenyan shows, that I'm like, that was a good one. So all the best in your production, and I hope to see you again on the show with the progress that you'll be having. Now, to our viewers, coming up next is a short and sweet discussion on the state of our nation, and we'll be joined by very own Blue Smile Hassan. Stay tuned for that.
I'm telling you, this hospital is not what you think.
Unamuumiza bana, wacha.
Watu wewe ni nini baya wewe?
Our people united shall never be defeated.
Welcome back. We are right here with a discussion on the state of the nation, and because these are things that are really you've heard of them. What will happen today is that we will just get quick opinions on what we think as young people that should be done differently in relation to these statements or in relation to these headlines that we are having, and of course the way forward for the young people and what's our role in shaping this narrative. Blue Smile is already here with us. Blue Smile, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
How's your Easter?
My Easter was quite long, but it was fine, and I'm really happy to be here.
When someone talks of a holiday being quite long, kwani unateseka?
No, it was quite long because if you are in the workspace. So it was quite long, but it was enjoyable.
All right. In the workspace, that must be long. But if you're in holiday, it was very, very short. Anyway, let's get to business. Today we want to talk about something that has really made headlines in almost all the dailies during the Easter. And this is in relation to the oil saga. The Standard is saying that, of course, he knew. And I'm also saying, of course, he knew. Definitely he knew. So that's not even a shocking incident. We've always said on this show, Blue Smile, that often everything in a country is controlled by politicians or by the state. And nothing can happen, especially which involves such huge amounts of money and something that is very critical, getting to circulation of Kenyan pipelines. Nothing can be done without the knowledge of the government. So definitely he knew. But my question is not about if he knew or if he did not know, because definitely he knew. My problem is, why is it that the small fish are the ones who are punished and not the big fish? Because if we are really heading into, I really turned this political, if you are really heading to Singapore, if you do something wrong, it is your responsibility to either get out of office or find a way of rectifying that. But that is something that we've not seen in the country. We've seen several cases of irregularities, corruption, and all that, but the ones who suffer are the ones who are the small fish. A similar case was seen with the Nairobi hospital. where we had corruption allegations and all that, but those who are suffering are the ones who, when you're hapa chini, wale the small fish. So do you think this is something that is a political witch hunt? Because there's no coincidence in politics as well. So what do you think about this issue of turning a blind eye to big fish and whatever wrongs they have done?
So I first of all agree with your explanation of this story, but for me, I see it as a deal gone sour, because it was more of a government deal. We had initially we had the G2G agreement, and then because of this war in Iran, and they saw that the G2G, the Gulf Energy, could not deliver because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. So the government, especially the National Security Council, was open to other ideas, so that we can avert the oil shortage in Kenya. So after that, they decided that they are going to give this tender to someone else, and this someone else who was given this tender apparently had this substandard oil, but it was a clear tender, it was a clear deal. Even these officials in the Ministry of Petroleum and State Department of Petroleum knew about the deal. It was not like the deal was not wrong. Them giving this tender for to avert this oil crisis, it was a deal from the top. But now when it came to the quality of the oil, the people who procured this oil and agreed and ticked that this oil is of the right standard were the ones who are bringing us to this mess. But again, it is said that these are the kind of deals that state officials usually make. This is the new form of corruption. That even when these state officials, when they were arrested, you saw the amount of money that they were arrested with. So this is where the money is in terms of corruption. But now, back to where these big fishes are, enjoying the beauty and of this sea, while the small fishes are the ones who are being roasted. It is more or less a situation where we see that the government tries to protect itself, the state officials trying to protect itself, because as much as we know that this oil that was procured was substandard, all we know is that there are small fishes here who were responsible. But you see, even there are calls for resignation of the CS in charge of this ministry, but the blame seems to be on Laban and the rest, but these big fishes are nowhere to be found, because you see, for even the resignation now of one CSOP and it is politics. It will bring us to broad-based politics, that he is untouchable. Some people are saying that he is untouchable because of the broad-based politics, but whether he knew or he did not know about this tender is something that we know that he knew. He knew of this tender, but we do not know if he knew that the shipment was substandard or not, or of right standard. But as I finish up is, we need to stop this culture of corruption. You see, this systemic problem of corruption is bringing us to this point, because we are looking at a crisis here, but others are seeing an opportunity to get millions. So we foresee a possible crisis where people will be marching to petrol stations with jerrycans, like the time of the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. But you see, some people are looking at this as an opportunity to get themselves money. We hear that there are cases where people are hiding fuel, so that in the event that there's a fuel shortage, and this is a ploy to create an artificial shortage. So in the event of that shortage, so that they can sell this petroleum and this fuel at higher prices. So people are seeing an opportunity in a crisis, of which it is not right. And this goes to the principles, our pillars of this country. We are turning the pillars of this country to be corruption. Like our pillars as a nation, we are making it to be corruption, that every citizen has to be corrupt. Because what do you mean in a situation where we have a crisis, you are bringing corruption in this case? Yeah.
All right, and that you said he's untouchable. I think him being touchable is not good for business right now, for the 2027.
Yeah, politics. In fact, it will actually disorient the whole political,
because these are experts. were brought in to help the government, but apparently they're helping the government to create more scandals. And let's not even talk about other ministries that are there, but a little bit, briefly, Blue Smile on I don't know if we should tackle the echoes of silence or Sifuna's options, because we need only to do one. Let's do Sifuna's options.
Sifuna, yeah.
Rising political star Edwin Sifuna is on the eye of a storm following his hardline position against the broad-based government and an ODM faction pursuing a pre-election pact with UDA. This is why this is important to me. Talking about youth in leadership, we're often told that the future is in the young people's hand. You know, the future is the young people. You are the future of generation, the future leaders. But what we see is that we are not able to partake in the decision making of our future. People who are given that opportunity are either twisted or turned against their will to support the government. The other day, I had an interview where Jalango said that if he knew what politics was like before getting into politics, he would not have gotten into politics. We've had young people who, when we saw them campaign against the government, one example is Kasamuel, who was singing Ruto ni mwizi, but then right now, that is something that is totally different. So whenever it's either money, erodes that morale or that, you know, culture of I want to do something different, and then when you get to government you turn to be something else. And now Sifuna is left with little options, because the current generation, in as much as we are not really focused on real issue, we are still, yes, we are politically aware, but we are mostly inclined to follow propaganda, the political narratives that are built on social media because of algorithmic manipulations and all that. So right now, Sifuna is left without an option, despite the fact that he got attention. And you know that in politics, attention is equal to influence. So will he leverage this attention? But then, as he leverages this attention, he cannot get into office by having attention, because again, social media and all that does not result to voting. So how will this attention help him? Will he go back to seeking reconciliation with the ODM party? Will he form his own political party, which is a risky move, because once again his attention is on social media? Or will he join the opposition, which in turn will also deprive him, this according to experts, of the Gen Z votes? The Gen Z votes, which are tied to logic, which are tied to, you lied to us, the opposition, pointing each and every one of them, you are in leadership, you did nothing, you're in leadership, you did nothing. So if he joins that pack again, it's also going to be hurting his political career. What do you think about his options?
First of all, you see, politics is a game of interest. We need to ask ourselves, or, you know, Sifuna needs to ask himself that what does he really want? What are his interests? If his interests is Ruto must go, then he's wrong. The interests have to be personal. What does he want? Does he want to be the next, you know, Nairobi governor? Does he want to remain as the next Nairobi senator? Does he want to be the president of Kenya? Does he want to be the kingpin of Western region? What does he want? Because it is not clear. You see, the reason why even the newspapers do not know what he wants, because we do not know, we can't tell his options, because we do not know, he has not come out clear on what he wants. So if we get to know what Sifuna really wants, it is when we will know his options. Because it is clear that he does not want to be to remain as the ODM Secretary General, because he said it, that he does not want to be the next ODM Secretary General, and he's tired of the ODM, and he said that he cannot be an SG of a party that has a mediocre, quotes and quotes, party leader. So the options of him returning to ODM, we can slash them, not unless there's a new ODM leader that Sifuna is willing to work with. So when we come back to the issue of him forming a new political party, political parties are not just formed for you know, let's say fashion show or for fashion pageantry. Political parties are strong vehicles, and he can form the political party because he has the muscle. But now, as you said, does he really have the muscles to turn this online presence to actually voters, to actually party members, to do mobilization? Because we can see there was a test. He went to Mombasa the other day, and when he went to Mombasa, initially there were no people, but he did a good politicking, and after just making some rounds in Mombasa, you see Mombasa is a small city, so you can just do go around the city and the county in less than 2 hours, and he actually mobilized people, and they went to Tononoka. So he's actually quite a good mobilizer, so he can actually do this. But you see, you can't just say you will do it theoretically. You need to start it, you need to test it, you need to test your formula and see if it is working. So for me, I really do not know what Sifuna really wants. So not unless I know what Sifuna really wants, so that I can actually be able to predict. But he's one of those people who have a very promising future in politics, and we see, for us who are actually admire the politics of young new faces, we actually admire what Sifuna is doing. But you see, he has the option of telling us what he wants or showing us what he wants, because he has the masses. And these masses, we usually say in the media industry that you only have 1 minute of fame. So people won't support Sifuna. This is the hard truth. People won't support Sifuna for that long. They'll be excited about him, but when they see that he does not really have a plan, they will shift away. These are the same people who are with Kasmuel Makore. These are the same people who are with Morara. These are the same people who had Maraga. And these people are now facing, facing, that era that they do not have support from the people. So if Sifuna will not be, quite the brilliant politician that he is, and tell us his plan as early as now, then people will go to Tunataka Power, and people are actually, very content with Tunataka Power, by the way.
All right. Yeah. There's a lot to talk about youths in politics, but time is not really on our side. This has really been short and sweet. I hope to see you again next week in our upcoming episodes on Biashara Tuesday on the state of our nation, and it will majorly be focused on your voice as a young person, what you think about the political space, and not really consuming propaganda that is really fueled by the political class and the manipulation of algorithms. It will majorly be focusing on expanding your knowledge and looking at politics as a decision maker, as someone who has a seat on the table. This has been Biashara Tuesday. My name is Anyango Sylvia. Bye from us.
Mshashona vitenge zinafanya mkichochana